Oh, I'm going to do at some point a little... If you want to listen to that episode, you can do so here at some point during the thing. I'm going to point to a card, but I'm going to do 2 takes of it.
Or hit the bell here and subscribe
Link's
to the channel
down there,
here now.
man.
The link's...
Call now. Hey, enjoyed this? How about this?
Stumble upon this. Cinema Swirl! No, I don't want to see your fun Gru dicks. It's episode number 126, coming to you from the Forbidden Library of Hollywood, California, with all them big blockbuster movies. And is it the good ham from Glasnevin? No, it's your hosts, Sam and Kevin.
Oh, hey, we've got a supplementary rhyme here. We've got an extra one.
You do, and as Abba would say, Happy New Year to ya.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Kevin. It's the new year.
Happy Gru Fear that I've given you all from my introductory rhymes there. But no, it's not Despicable Me we're worrying about. It's Despicable Ye who've come to hear Sam find out about another movie he's not seen. And would you believe we are paying attention to what's most important, Sam? The figures, the data.
Stats, the data, the pure numbers. You and me, we're numbers guys, you know? We're numbers guys.
Talking like 3, 4, 119, all the classics.
Of course I'm going to eat a number while I'm doing my podcast. I'm a numbers guy.
You're a number cruncher. That's why you do that. Oftentimes, I'll ask Sam to crunch the numbers again because it's kind of, it's pleasing on the ear and the eye.
Crunchy numbers. Look, I think we did have some comments, some feedback, maybe some emails that were like, "Oh, Twilight, that's shit," and maybe it is shit, and that is a valid point, but it's big. All right,
it is.
It's big.
Look. We're in the same position, Sam and I, where a couple of the big wigs at Nintendo were in like 2006, and they were there with the Wii, and we hate. Everyone's telling us, our loyal fans, they hate the idea of this.
Yes,
but they're numbers guys as well. Nintendo, for Christ's sake, and they crunched the numbers and they went with the Wii. We've crunched the numbers, and you've got Twilight number 2 coming at you right now, Sam.
Yes, it's a new day and it's a new moon for us. It's the Twilight Saga. New moon. So that we started with Twilight, but now we're into the Twilight Saga new moon.
In the great spirit of this podcast, where it is I, Kevin, introducing Sam or watching along with Sam as he's introduced to me for the first time, I have had to watch this movie in the last 12 months because I had not seen it before. So the fun kind of backstory of that is I do this podcast called kind of like Cinema Swirl, and we're historically numbers guys, and one day Sam and I were looking at the numbers, we were crunching those numbers, and we thought, they love Twilight, and so I decided at that point, knowing the numbers and crunching them as I had, to watch Twilight New Moon, and that was around 4 months ago.
Right.
And I should have bought it now in retrospect, because I'm going to rent this twice, aren't I, like an idiot.
You've double dipped. Okay, so we are really chasing the money. I think I maybe thought that... I say money. I mean, the numbers, not money. But we're going after, because you've gone out of your way to watch a film. This is not something that you, unlike the first Twilight, which you had seen.
I had seen but I had not. But I have seen it. Okay.
Oh, you had, yeah.
The thing, right, before semantics patrol get in the fucking involved here, right?
Yeah.
Every movie I've ever done here for this podcast, at some point, I had not seen it, and then I saw it.
Yeah.
Say, I've come to you as prepared for the situation to have had seen a movie that he hasn't seen as much as any other time in the history of this show.
Yeah.
So we're doing Twilight New Moon.
Yeah.
It was fine. We're doing it.
We're doing it. So what memories do you have attached to Twilight New Moon?
It would have been...
Probably still in the same season.
I think it was around the time I went to Prague. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that was like last autumn.
Yeah.
Look, it's probably too recent when a lot of the nostalgia is tied to the weather that you could remember from that, because that's kind of like a micro period from from a while ago. I remember it, Sam. I'll never forget. I was 36. It was a crazy time.
It's been a while since we've even mentioned the rules of Cinema Swirl. Like, we've even kind of actually at the top of the show gone, here's who I am and what my thing is, and here's what Kevin is and what his thing is, and here's what this podcast is. So actually, we haven't set that out for a while. So maybe we can just get away with just chatting about films.
Look, I think you'd rather us talking about the rules of Cinema Swirl than the fools of Cinema Swirl, which is sure himself and myself here now, is what I'm telling you, huh?
Right, here we go. I'm going to give it a go, right?
Yeah?
We did the first Twilight on Cinema Swirl, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can listen to that. Not watch it because our face is not on it, but you can listen to it on YouTube here or here.
The hours of work you've just given. I
don't want to have to AI my hand over to the other side, or for like one moment just like flip the video around. So I'm covering all bases.
You've enough energy now for the reaction face for the still later as well, because I don't want you gassed out now and then you can't do the face, and then all of a sudden we've no watchers at all.
Look, we got to chase the numbers, we got to chase the algorithm, we got to make this work. It's Twilight New Moon.
Yeah, and here's a number that was being chased. A couple of numbers guys here had to delve into the archive to find out what you actually gave Twilight number 1.
Yes.
So we could determine whether or not it was enjoyable enough experience that this warrants a return visit.
I think what happened, I had a little listen to the end there, was that I was able to acknowledge both sides of the argument about Twilight, in that it is a bit naff, and some of the performances, especially from the two leads, are a bit weird, but overall...
That's a really nice way of putting it, really think about
it. It is weird.
That's fair and nice,
it's a bit
really.
Weird, but I think the amount of pure hate that it got back in the day, I think was unwarranted, and I think overall, for the audience that it was aimed at, it was a pretty enjoyable film, and I gave it 3 star wipes, right down the middle. 3 star.
Say the same thing about like George W. Bush or something like that. I knew I hated him all back in the day, but now I don't think about it at all. He's better, I guess. Sam, do you suppose to tell me what happened in Twilight number 1?
Yes. So there's a new Bella.
Yeah, I know you liked it. You said it was good. You gave it 3 star vibes. And he was like, "Oh, Bella." Okay. Yeah, he was effusive with praise despite the middle number.
Okay, right. Oh, Bella. Hey, Bella. Okay, I see what you're saying. Bella is at high school, and I think she's new in town. And she comes in and immediately is kind of drawn to this sexy guy, this sexy pale guy,
and he's really old.
And his whole family. Turns out, and he looks at her in class, and he's like, ugh. It's kind of weird, kind of gross.
When he does it, it's like, oh, magical. When Nosferatu does it, it's scary and sad.
And turns out he's a vampire, right?
MySpace profile.
Kevin, he's a vampire, and Bella is like the most delicious blooded person there is. He's like, I can smell your tasty blood. So he really wants to have a right chomp on her neck, vampire wise. But these are like ethical vampires. So they're like freegan vampire. They only have animal blood, which admittedly is not vegan. But they only kill animals and drink the animal blood. They don't hurt humans. But there are baddie vampires who just purely want to have that delicious blood.
Yeah, don't care for them, Sam, to be honest.
Meanwhile, so we end up with like a showdown between the Cullens and this gang of baddie vampires who are being horrible, and he kills one of them, but there's some others left. Meanwhile, there's a guy called Jacob who's also a bit mysterious and is I don't think we know yet what his deal is, but I do know that he's werewolf guy, right?
Oh, okay, you know that much.
Yeah,
you know that much.
Either I knew that at the time when we watched Twilight 1, or I have since found out that he's the werewolf one. But so we don't know that yet, but I know that now, and that's kind of where we left it. Have I missed any pertinent details there about Twilight?
There's
The sparkle.
The sparkles.
They sparkle. They have a kitchen in their house, even though they don't eat. Do they fly at one point? No.
There's been kind of like floating around,
floating about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sparkly vampires. It's a bit sexy.
If you're just to assume now, vampires, werewolves. Now, we entered into the dark universe not that long ago over on Cinema Swirl.
Sure, plants, zombies. Where's it going to end? Yeah.
When these guys, I mean, they're classic Hollywood ghouls.
Friend,
foe. How are we getting on here?
I think they're both going to have the difficulty of liking a girl, and look, there's going to be some kind of weird, almost tribal divide, which there already kind of was. And you can't go on this reservation because you're a vampire, and it's a whole thing.
I've been breaking all sorts of rules with this without realizing. I go basically wherever, and and frankly, I'm neither,
I think they should be working together for some common good, probably killing the evil vampires. But I think Bella will be a source of friction for them.
With werewolves. We've not had much werewolf time here on Cinema Swirl.
No. Which is midnight, right? Is that midnight or full moon? New moon. We're getting a fucking werewolf in this one. Come on, new moon. New moon.
Which was my actual dark-sided Animal Crossing spin-off that I wanted to make, and they wouldn't let me. But with regards to, if there's vampires and there's werewolves, I'm just wondering where you personally would align, because as a man with sharp teeth, i.e. me, I feel like I could fall into either category happily.
I think vampire for me, because that's just living forever, and they both want to
just living
that's
forever.
Just living forever. It's Liam Gallagher's dream. They both want to eat humans, right?
Fucking Liam Gallagher is a fucking vampire, mate.
Yeah,
he's a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
You see them ticket prices, and he was like, a litre of blood, please. No, thanks. Was it the new rain jackets that you were sponsoring? Was that because you'd be eating blood and you need the waterproof, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably vampire. Are you coming down on the werewolf side? I think you've got more werewolf energy than I do.
Yeah, I know. And I say this as well. I realize I'm very much a werewolf in human form wearing this shirt at the moment.
Sure.
But I do want to, and again, I realize I'm lining on a trait that you could also easily take from my CV of being a competent werewolf. I do have sharp fang-like teeth.
How would you describe your shirt, by the way, just for listeners at home?
I would say it's a lumberjack you've never heard of before.
Yeah, good, okay.
I feel, though, there would be something of a delight, because I think bearded vampires are really like, where are they,
Yeah.
And I think that I could maybe challenge some preconceived notions vis-a-vis whether or not vampires got beards, Sam.
Yeah. You don't see many bespectacled vampires, neither.
No, and that's the thing as well, is that those are the worst types of hipsters, because vampires, they have perfect vision, so they don't need to wear those glasses. If a vampire ever asked to wear your glasses to have a go on them, because they're undead and quirky, just tell them to fuck off, yeah?
I'm going to eat them.
Oh, can I have a go on your thrall? Didn't think so.
I've realised with glasses and beard, those are things that would probably be an absolute fucker to get blood on. And... if you've got blood on your glasses and blood on your beard.
From experience,
yeah.
Dogs, they don't like this business. Like one of my research projects I had to do when I was a scientist and in Glasgow was I had to put seeds out everywhere, all over Glasgow, of different colours to see what would get eaten by birds. And I kept getting dogs giving me the fucking business. And my professor kept giving me these articles being like, look, they've shown in Dog Psychology Monthly that dogs hate big men with glasses and big men with beards and deep voices. So I think if I was a werewolf, I'd be one of them loner werewolves with no werewolf friends.
I don't mean this as an insult, but is it because it makes you seem more of a big scary dog? That sounds like an insult. But
look,
you know
Sam,
what?
Look, I knew when I was going to Glasgow, I couldn't be like, it was a new turf, so I walked around everywhere going. No
wonder the dogs were scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed
genuinely. If I'm just saying this now, I'm planting seeds. I don't want Stanley Standard to get up in my presence and it to be like heartbreaking for the Cinema Swirl fan base.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, the meeting hasn't happened yet, but it will do at some point. And, you know, maybe we can time it with the mustache era.
I'm entering I'm entering your dog's dreams like a vampire would. Be like, yeah.
And he does have little dreams because you see his little paws going and sometimes when he's fast
What's
asleep.
he dreaming about? Eating and shitting, no doubt.
But genuinely, I'm
Probably,
like,
yeah.
what are you fucking dreaming about? Like, going for a walk? Well, I mean, that's quite, big for a dog. Anyway, look, Twilight, new moon, there's going to be a werewolf, there's going to be vampires.
New year, new moon, that's what I always
new
say.
Year, new moon. Oh, that's good, actually. That's probably the caption or something.
That's probably why we're doing it now. We've retrospectively realised why we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're numbers guys, but we're wordplay guys, first and foremost.
Numbers, words, that's us. Anyway, here's some film stuff that we're doing now. Which, look, all right. I'm excited to see more of the Twilight franchise. And I'm also curious to see the response to this.
I am, because if this stinks out, that's hilarious in its own right. I will say as well, like, in genuine fairness, there's nothing quite like the joy of seeing a franchise that suddenly realises it's the hottest thing in the universe. Yeah. And seeing how that unfolds before our eyes and the many, many installments that lay before us. Because there are almost as many Twilight movies as there are Shrek movies at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm wanting to know, are we going to strike the balance, if you're in your mind, of this is like peak Twilight, or if at the end of this you'll be harping back to the good old days.
Yeah.
You know, of Twilight season 1. You know. Yeah.
The OG map of Twilight was the best. Look, we did have some complaints about why is this not on Cinema Swirl, which is where we review bad movies on Patreon. And I don't know what the critical response to this or indeed any of the sequels was, and I don't want to know just yet. But it's not all about good or bad, because if we just watch good movies on Cinema Swirl, that it's bigness, it's popcorn classics.
Bigness of it, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's about cultural moments and movements in Hollywood and felt around the world, which is why you have to eat your vegetables. Yeah,
this shit was fucking huge.
It was everywhere. And honestly, it's due its nostalgia fucking roundabout comeback at this point already,
It'll
right?
come round, yeah.
Come on.
It's probably already happening on like TikTok or something I haven't
Where's
noticed.
my Stars series Cullen that I've been demanding? For weeks now it's been.
Look, there's not too much to say. We've said most of our Twilight stuff in the Twilight episode and indeed a little bit now. But before we do that, Kevin, would you like to delve into the mailbag?
Oh, Sam, is it a wear bag that turns into a bag?
Wear bag, here bag. It's the mailbag. Welcome to the mailbag.
Here bag. Bag.
Welcome to the Wearbag mailbag. Welcome to the mailbag.
If you're not gentle with the bag, it won't let you open it.
Thank you as ever for your emails, questions, queries, comments, other bits and bobs to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
Or indeed the socials. But these have come in to the gosh darn email address, and our first piece of correspondence is from Zachary, who writes the following. Hello, Kevin and Sam. I hope this email finds you well in the new year. Perhaps you're reading it over a cup of tea and a touch of tiffin for Sam.
Yeah, I did actually have a cup of tea. Actually.
Oh, lovely. I wonder if you've considered the film King of New York. Now, this is Sam speaking. I haven't heard of this. But Zachary goes on. As my brother describes it, I've never seen so much teeth acting in my life. Quentin Tarantino reviewed the film on the Rewatchables podcast, but I don't feel it has had a complete going over until it's been reviewed by the lads. I believe this film is better than Chips, though not sure it is better than Dad's. That may be insecurity speaking, though, as a dad whose son loves chips. I've been a fan of the podcast for years now and frequently re-listen to episodes, as some of the jokes never fail to make me laugh. Thank you for pumping out a little more joy into the world. I truly wish the best for you both in this new year. Thank you, Zachary. That's very sweet. Now, this is one of those emails. We get a lot of emails that are like, maybe you should do this film. And we appreciate those. They're not usually the ones that we read out, but something about... I've never seen so much teeth acting in my life intrigued me so much that I kind of want to know what this is.
It's a Christopher Walken classic, and I adore it. I would say it would probably stretch the barriers of when I think cult classics and their to-be-defined cult status sometimes might make it a little bit of a harder sell.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'd be a very happy man if I watched and reviewed King of New York with Sam.
King of New York.
And I mean, you'll be looking at them chompers is all I'm saying, Sam. You'd be looking at them chompers.
I want to know why and how, but I don't want you to tell me. The only other time I can think of teeth acting is fucking Jaws. Not the film Jaws, but Jaws of James Bond fame. Like, when else has there been tooth acting with your teeth?
Well, you know, for those of us who have... There are teeth everywhere for those of us with eyes to see them. You know?
I can't see the wood for the teeth sometimes. So thank you. I'm not sure if we will check it. Maybe we could just check it out casually and just be like, look, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to see some fucking teeth action.
I'll tell you what it is with movies like that. Their status is, if Sam just went and watched that movie of his own accord, I'd be as happy as that he's seen it.
Right, yeah.
As much as that he had to review it for a podcast. I feel it is on the fringe of... Oh, because and the thing is that you read that right after we had the chat about what is and isn't, and I feel like, it's just after the principal's been into the classroom to read the riot act, so we're all on our best behaviour now.
Yes, but I want to see some teeth. And it's New York, so what's he taking a bite at? The Big Apple. Bite of the Big Apple with the teeth. Okay, I get it. It's a giant king of New York biting the Big Apple. Giant king. That's my guess. And I'm not going to look it up, but I might watch it. Thank you, Zachary. Appreciate the email. Thank you for the lovely message. Our next correspondence comes in from Josh, and I think you'll like this. This is a follow-on to a topic that's come up quite a few times. This is one of our best kind of email topics, I think. So, howdy, fellas. Just going back and listening to some of my favourite past episodes, and I came across the infamous 24-hour disco / grad night, etc. discussion while listening to Dirty Dancing, and thought I'd share my story.
Great!
Yes! What a subject!
Yes!
This is a film podcast, but the idea of an all-night disco is the thing that I think has resonated the most. I think that could be a whole spin-off podcast in itself, just talking about this.
Just getting to the bottom of this.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Because as an Irishman from the outside, I've never been as confused by what seems to be ongoing behaviour historically and, honestly, recently in America and the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's an international phenomenon. Josh writes, I grew up Mormon in Montana in the US, and our youth group always had stuff going on. I remember one year, I must have been around 12 to 13 years old, we had a lock-in at a local rec centre. It was our boys' youth group and a couple of chaperones, and we had full access to the entire facility. I have strong memories of handball and basketball going on most of the night, and one kid brought his N64, and we took turns on that, probably playing something underwhelming because it wasn't the Dreamcast. Anyway, thank you guys for the great content. I'm a huge fan. Here's to another 10 years. Although the congrats is probably a bit late.
So that was just...
Thank you, Josh. That was just... It happened. It
just
happened within the Mormon youth group community.
I'm just expecting the word scandal to come at the end of that sentence. Or controversy. Look, we're not taking sides saying it's one thing or the other that's going on. I'm just intrigued by the casual ubiquity of it all, Sam.
There is a universal appeal, it seems, to locking kids overnight in some sort of school or recreational centre or some building overnight for a long period of time. What is that about?
Every time we revisit it, I just get more confused. Like, I go back further I feel like I'm on a journey here where every time I get more intel, I go further back along the journey.
Take one step forward and about 3 steps back.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening there? Is it preparing you for the idea of having to stay up all night?
I'm not trying to pick apart the lovely email. I appreciate the lovely email.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
But we don't know if it was good, if he liked it.
Okay.
All the questions I have. Was it a pleasant experience? You said you have memories. I've memories of all sorts.
Kevin.
You know?
I went to an all-night disco. I don't remember if it was good or if I liked it. I just remembered that I was there all night. That's too long when you're 12.
Yeah, like, what time did you go to bed at? Like, it has to end. You can't just... Like, the adults at least supervising would fall asleep at some point, right?
You come out of it in the morning. As a child, having stayed up all night, you emerge from this in the morning in the day.
I think, what, do you, like, go on with your day then?
Right, off home now to sleep.
Mum and Dad have picked you up. How have you been? I've been up for 12 hours straight. Right, well, you're going to go home and have breakfast now? I'm so more confused.
Kevin, it's teaching you how to deal with jet lag. Or that jet lag is a thing. And you will feel it. It
is.
Because that's the feeling I felt.
Jet lag made Sam Chaplin watch Mad Max 2 at fucking 4 a.m. And no one, you know what, Sam, I'll say it now in 2025, now we're clear of that year. It was a fucking disgrace.
And you can watch that episode here. I'm going to make so much use of cards. Not to play solitaire, Kevin, but to point you in the direction of another episode of Cinema Swirl.
Yes, I love time-honoured YouTube feature that will never go away. I love all the videos there where they're like, hey, press here, man. And it's just like the video's just there ending, like, press where? Press where?
Press where? Do what?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah?
Do fucking Twilight number 2. Are you ready to go back into the Cullen world?
I'm ready to go back into the Cullen world. I'm ready to re-enter the Twilight Saga. It's become a saga. It's become the Twilight Saga. This is the... Sorry. Look, I know you want to get into it. I know you're desperate to get into Twilight. I'm just thinking about the naming convention here. Because this is like the problem that Game of Thrones had. Because that TV series should be called A Song of Fire and Ice. And then the first one is Game of Thrones. And the second one is A Crow Bit Someone or whatever. And like they've all got the little names. And these films should be like Twilight. It should be something else. But it's the Twilight Saga and the first one's called Twilight. So it's like Twilight New Moon. But Twilight's just Twilight.
What's next?
Right?
Twilight Old Moon?
The Lord of the Rings is not the Lord of the Rings... And then the Lord of the Rings Two Towers, and then the Lord of the Rings Return of the King.
The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and like Star Wars, A New Hope. That was only added in retrospectively, though. That's the thing. We're just in a situation here. We've not had our 25-year anniversary re-release or whatever the fuck it is, where we add in subtitles to Twilight.
Not?
Subtitle,
Why not?
The first one.
Twilight 1.
The first one.
But the 1 spelled out.
And it's spelled O-N number 1 with 3 number 1s spelling out the big E. There you go.
Well, I'm excited to watch it.
Well, let's go fucking do it, right? And we're going to find out who's a vampire and who's a dirty werehunk. And let's go do a Cinema Swirl.
Oh, this episode of Cinema Swirl is brought to you with the support of our wonderful backers over at patreon.com/Cinema Swirl. $5 OTP backers get instant access to every episode of our monthly exclusive bonus show, Cinema Swirl, where Kevin and I review bad movies. And this month, in fact, right now, we've reviewed a film that we've been talking about since episode 1 of Cinema Swirl. That's right, it'll put a crimp in your day. It's Star Wars The Clone Wars. You know the one, the animated CGI Star Wars film that's technically kind of a pilot episode to a TV show that's apparently quite good, but the film is bad. It's a weird one, it's silly, it's Star Wars, and we get into it. If you want to find out more, head on over to patreon.com/Cinema Swirl. Alright, let's get swirling.
And we're back. Sam, initial gut reaction to Twilight. New Moo.
Yeah. And that's your lot. This is not part of it, but that was it. All right? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Sam, I know we followed the numbers on this one, but like I probably we should have had a little preamble. I'd be like, you know what? You know,
okay,
like
bring it up a bit.
There's people like they're already gone. What am I saying? They heard that and that's it. They're done now. God damn it!
We needed a hook, and yeah, is probably not the hook. But listen to the tone of it. Yeah.
Oh Jesus! It's worse on repeat. Listen, if anything, no. Oh God, this is the difficult second Twilight movie.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But only one.
Yeah.
You know? You couldn't even surmise the yes.
Well, They Don't Love You Like I Love You. Desperately trying to remember a yes song there. Maps.
It checks out. It's all right.
I don't know what my initial gut reaction was for Twilight 1, but this very much felt like
Look, we did use the feature on Spotify where they transcribe us to alarming degrees of inaccuracy and accuracy. All I'll say is my overall review of that feature is it's a laugh. As I'm sure for ye listening, and should I say reading, and us as the creators in question.
Yeah.
So we had a little skip and say, what did he give Twilight 1? And you said fucking 3-star wipes.
Fucking 3-star wipes.
And there's something about you dropping like an F-bomb very willy-nilly like that. Maybe that was a begrudging 3 in retrospect.
It might have been. Look, I'm a willy-nilly swear dropper. You know that about me. Sometimes I'll throw in a fuck of shit.
I can't believe you used the W word and then the N word afterwards. That's willy and nilly. Both of those.
Thank God. No, Willy. Anyway, look, right. It was kind of a begrudging. Yeah, okay. That's the sequel to the Twilight film. I get it. But
whereas now, me, almost because of seems like a professional obligation, I found myself inexplicably warming to this franchise.
Okay.
And not in a proper way, but like more like, much like the titular Edward Cullen of Edward Cullen's Twilight New Moon himself,
Yes.
I find myself standing near it now and scowling, but that's how I'm trying to let you know that I like it.
Okay. Yes. It's a complicated thing to untangle.
It's not really, Sam. Let's stop with the lies now. This is not what's complicated about
No,
this?
not the
it's basically
film.
2 hours of people biting their lips.
There's some merit in that.
There's a lot of that. There's so much of that. It's like someone said, hey, Twilight, you gave us a 5 out of 10 on the horny scale. We want a solid 8 for this one, please.
Really bite in there.
Please.
Go for it. Yeah, tromp on those lips. Right. Let's get into what happens in New Moon.
Let's get into it. Did you notice that the new moon was like a smelly fart? It was a big brown moon. Now,
Yes.
I've heard the phrase once in a blue moon.
But once in a brown moon.
I feel like if you did like a proper horrible fart, you could say that's a new moon. Like it's a proper screen encompassing brown sphere.
Kevin, one of us is going to have to say it. Twilight Poo Moon. I've said it. All right, let's get it over with. Let's get it out there. Look, I did like that it started with an actual moon.
Yes.
And that kind of eclipses to reveal the title. That's nice work, all right?
But there's lots of lessons for us to learn constantly throughout this movie, being, curious about human vampire relations and romance and what. And there's lots of lessons for all the youngsters listening as well, like these violent delights have fucking awesome ends typically. They're so I fucking love these violent delights are so great. I can only imagine the end will be equally as fun, like. Right.
But when you get a big plate of violent delights and you're like, oh, this is going to have an awesome end, and you just start shoving them in, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, and it actually does end up having a violent end.
We've said it so many times now, it sounds like violent delights are like this horrible hard candy that your aunt will have. You're like, oh, I don't like.
Yeah.
These Parma violent delights have violent ends, Grandma.
So, right, at the start here, we're already on the back foot, I think, because we're in fucking Sopranos dream sequence territory and I love Sopranos dream sequence. But we're in the 2000s here.
I want to see Edward Cullen on a horse if you're going to give me a proper bit of
So, Bella's in like a meadow somewhere, and Edward's there, but then...
Grandma?
It's Grandma?
Grandma?
But it's not Grandma. Grandma is her. She is the grandma. Because Edward is a vampire and she is a human woman and she will age and she's worried about becoming grandma.
Yeah, and then Bella looks at the old lady and she goes, why are you old?
Why are you old? And then really goes for the lip. Big old bite of the lip. So it's hard to work out what that dream means.
It's the Arwen dilemma, Sam.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You go with someone immortal, you're going to have to turn into a skeleton while they look sad in your awesome coffin, like, you know?
It's tricky. And look, she's having this dream on her birthday, so of course you're going to be worried about aging.
Oh, happy birthday. I love this. This is hilarious. The 18-year-old reflecting on their dwindling mortality.
Yeah, fuck up. Right. If at this point in my life, if you're 18, you're like, oh, I'm getting so old, fuck off. No, don't fuck off. If you're listening, please stay. And it's okay to worry about your mortality at any age. But, come on.
Because I was going to say, I had my phase of that when I was age 20, like I want to say 23, 22, 23, which is basically, I've retrospectively surmised that when you've had the run of birthdays between 18 and 21, for most people, I'm not going to say it's for everyone, but for most people, it's generally a hot streak of birthdays that people give a shit about. Yeah. The 18th, the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, 22nd. Well, I've got a job now. There's a lot of that.
Sure.
It's kind of a cooling off period, so to speak. So at 23, I thought that I was as good as dead. 24, 25 were better.
I remember 25 being the point where I was like, oh, that's it. It's game over. If I haven't achieved everything at this point, what am I even doing? And now I'm like,
you know what it is?
I was a child.
It's the wisdom of a man in his 30s you're hearing there, folks.
Yes.
It's the wisdom of a man in his 30s.
Yeah.
And if you think back way back in time when like life expectancy was, let's face it, cack all. That's basically like the village elder telling you the pearls of wisdom on which the foundation of your whole culture is based.
Yeah.
So listen up, yeah?
Yeah, so that initial gut reaction of, that's actually really crucial wise information.
Very crucial. Very crucial.
I like her 2008 gift of a digital camera. That's nice. We're just pre-smartphone.
I've noticed that when I watch wrestling shows from pre-smartphone era, that if a match is very boring, you can look and see people either with their arms folded in the audience or furiously looking at the photos they've taken earlier. And,
yes.
Those are your two options for killing time.
Yeah.
Those of us with an Ericsson T10 might try knock out a ringtone or two in the interval, but, loud business that. Is it safe to say that Bella's dad was like our favourite character from the first movie?
Yeah, we liked him. Yeah.
Good old pathetic cop dad, like, comes in, it's your birthday. She's like, what are you doing here?
I've not wrapped your... That's a weird, like, juxtaposition there. I've not wrapped your gift, but your gift is a digital camera. That's, like, an expensive thing to not wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I figured that you want to... You know what? I feel there's certain gifts, though, that are such, like, immediate... Like, a 2009's, camera of a digital variety. That's one of them. You could put a bow on the unwrapped box and you'd get away with it.
Yes. Actually, what I'm thinking now, there wasn't a box, and I reckon that's something that's been taken in as evidence, and he's...
The reason why... Officer Dad is lovable is that as much low-key passive-aggressive disdain that Bella treats him with, he treats himself with a good deal more passive-aggressive disdain. Yeah. So it feels on equal balance like they've got a nice relationship going on here.
Yeah, there's a mutual understanding of who they are, which is nice. We do get the little background detail that, like, hikers are being killed by some big animal. What's going on there?
But it could be a big vampire, Sam. What are they feeding them Cullens?
Big old vampire. We're back to high school.
Yeah, look. It's been long enough since the last episode where I can say all these things over again.
Yeah,
he's 109.
She's 18. Yeah,
there's literally a line later on in the movie where like people are starting to realize that we look not anywhere near the age that we should be. Like it's just like I don't want to have a go at the folks who are struggling away, the Department of Education and Forks. Forks, is that what?
Forks.
They live in Forks.
Forks.
I'm sure they're fine educators, but there is a serial adult masquerading as child problem here. And it's just a safeguarding issue.
It is, isn't it?
If they weren't vampires, it'd be so scary on its own. Added on to that. I don't think
hold on.
109 year, like the world's oldest man.
This is the thing. If they weren't vampires, you would have a 109-year-old man who looks 109 years old in a school pretending to be a student, which would be funny and sad and scary at the same time.
And everyone tries to come and catch him, but there's too many independent journalists asking him for their podcast and blog. What's his secret to living a long, fulfilled life? And he's like, I've been masquerading as a child in a school this entire time as it happens.
When they get asked that, they're always like, I drink olive oil for breakfast and everything's fine. And I'm like, I think it's just rolling the dice. I mean, there is healthy living, but sometimes I think, it's not because you have the big glass of wine every night, is it? Oh, what's Kevin doing?
I just rolled like 6 dice. And these are Joe's D&D dice. Some of these are like fucking...
Okay.
So that's like...
How long you got?
Oh, man. I know it's talking about getting into your 30s. It's all okay.
Yeah.
I was so scared of dying. And now... Whoa!
Yeah, we briefly somehow turned into a live play D&D podcast for a second.
No, you said roll the dice. There we go.
Roll the dice.
I did it 6 times. I'm going to live to be 900.
Oh, Kevin's going to be fine. Speaking of people who are going to be fine, young Jacob is all buff now. And I think Bella is like, you are buff now. You look buff.
There's no time Jacob and her are on screen together where she looks him in the fucking eye. She is staring at that boy's body. She literally addresses his pectoral muscles.
So I was reading up about this afterwards. Apparently it was enough of a thing that Jacob is buff in the second book that they considered recasting this lad because he wasn't buff enough. And he was like,
so he
got buff.
Good for him!
To tick the buff box.
He looks a bit like John Cena because he's often wearing jorts, but that's only when he cuts the hair. Here, the long hair and buff, that's prime dink. That looks like lad who was rejected from being a wrestler. Like, he looks tragically like a dink here.
There's a tough enough vibe to him, 100%. While Jacob and Bella are talking, Edward just stands at the back and he sort of sulks and looks sad. Edward's sullen over there. But it's not even in like a deep vampire way. It's just in a kind of passive-aggressive boy way. Very silly.
Do you think it's with him the case that, some people are just bad eggs and they get into bad habits and then they become immortal and that's it? Or do you think, like, when you live to be in your 109 or whatever it may be, you go through like a second adolescence? And then, so he was all, sanguine and wise and whatnot, 60 years ago. But then he became a stupid fucking moron, hormonal idiot again, and stands around scowling at things. It's just undignified for the station that age affords you.
Yeah.
It's beneath you.
You can't sulk at 109, can you? Come on, you're past sulking.
Honestly, I remember times that my grandmother sulked, and I remember looking at her going, you and I both know this is like... this is beneath you.
We've got to move past this. Come on.
Yeah.
I forgot how sort of kind of goofy this film universe was. Like, the start here where they're all in high school and one of the vampires is looking at Bella and she's like, quit it with the mood control, Jasper. Ba-da-ba-ba. It's all, it's a bit jaunty and silly.
It is. You have to treat it light because we're dealing with serious subjects here. Like teen romance and the vampire code. Here, are you like me waiting for the year when one of your loved ones is like, oh, no gifts?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. But the thing is she's like, oh, no gifts. And, Edward listens to her, but everyone else is like, fuck you, Bella, here's your gift.
I think that's one of the rules, isn't it? If someone is like, oh, don't get me anything this year, and you actually listen to that and don't get them something, that's bad. But we need to be more transparent with what we actually mean with things, all right? Let's just agree.
Look, folks, just say what you mean. Just turn to your loved ones and say, this year I want better gifts.
Yeah. You don't often hear that.
Or I want more of them as well. I want more of them.
Both quantity and quality should improve. Yeah.
Behind every no gifts me is there an explicit desire for better or more gifts.
Better and more.
And more. You're 109, you've not learned this yet? So-called immortal Edward Cullen? Come on.
He's just talking about death all the time. And the Volturi, who we'll get to later on.
Yes. So they have, of course, class. And, of course, one thing that no one who's 109 should ever say is, we have to go to class. But that is something that this particular 109-year-old has to say. They're watching Romeo and Juliet, and straight away I'm like, oh, I bet you fucking love Juliet, don't you? Oh, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill you. No, not before I kill myself. Star-crossed lovers indeed. And because he's taken this class 103 times before, he knows it off by heart.
Do they just go to different fucking schools?
Yeah,
Is that what they've been doing?
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Look, all I'm saying is, right, every school is allocated a budget per pupil, right? There's a figure per head. And I'm just saying, if you're teaching those who've like not only have been taught before, but like on a cycle endlessly for hundreds of years, like, you know, someone's getting the budget cut somewhere to they don't have art in that school because there's 3 vampires there. That's what's going on in Forks, if you give a fork.
And look, we're back 100% to all the lip-biting, nail-biting, flirty... The classic Twilight interaction is what we're getting here. They're kind of staring at each other.
Like, it feels almost as if we accomplished nothing in the first movie. They seem to be exactly where they were at, like, 5 minutes before the end of the last one.
Yeah, it does a little bit. But again, that kind of ties into the sort of sitcom feeling nature I was thinking before, where it's like, oh yeah, this is familiar. This is where we were. We're being eased back in.
It's funny though. She goes to visit the vampire family, and they're all like, blah, here are some presents. It's funny that she still has to be like kind of cool and scowly, and she literally has a big pile of birthday gifts, all like covered in, and she's like,
cheer up, come on.
Like, I know you're annoyed that no one listened to your no gifts edict, but like, if you get a vampire to rap, you've obviously done something very, very good. You've made an impact on the community. Now, if you remember, there was the young vampire who was borderline uncontrollable around the blood.
Yeah.
She gets a little cut there. This is me if you bring a sausage roll into the house and it's not for me. I will have to be held back. I will break furniture. Yeah. And the only way that that'll go away is through hundreds of years of restraint and support from a close knit coven.
Yes.
So you know, good thing I'm immortal now, huh?
And Duncan we watch. Sorry.
I'm gonna stick this immortal dildo up my ass.
So, Bella's given herself a paper cut. Jasper's going after her. Edward, I think, in defense of her, pushes her away. But that, you know, she takes a sick bump onto some...
Yeah, she gets fucking... she gets knocked about in this movie, for lack of a better term, Sam. She's taking the falls fast and heavy early doors.
Yeah, and now she's bleeding loads, and so they have to kind of get... Look, us vampires are going to have to go away because this is a fucking nightmare for us. And she's like, well, it's not fair on anyone in this situation, really.
Please stay. I'm scowling, by the way.
I forgot that the vampire dad is called Carlisle.
Oh, he's not Dr. Vampire like I wrote here. No,
he's called Carlisle. And I think to any Americans that seems like a kind of quaint, Englishy sounding romantic thing.
But I think I like the Carlisle Centre now if I hear that now.
It's just... I don't know. There's no romance in that name to me. No offense to anyone from Carlisle or near Carlisle or anyone called Carlisle.
No. I mean, hey, he could even be from Carlisle. He could be who Carlisle is named after, or the Carlisle Centre is named after, for all I know. Here's a question. When he casually drops old Doc Carlisle here, that's a good name for a doctor. When he casually drops that, he's like, oh, you know, well, kind of have to be nice because we're all damned, aren't we? Now, are we saying canonically in Twilight Land, heaven and hell exist, and he's going down south?
I don't know. what is this stuff about souls and damnation of the souls?
They're fair. I mean, because if he's talking like kind of in a general sense, like, you know,
is being a vampire like instant damnation?
I think it is. It's like suicide or having a tattoo or something like that.
Yeah,
like you're instantly going to burn forever. I'm saying it's in the Bible. It's not my fault.
But you are immortal, so the time it takes you to get there is going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, 9 times out of 10, if you're a vampire and you die, you'd be lying if there isn't a party that's like fair play, you know?
Yeah,
you know, come on. Like, I wouldn't be able to, no, you fucking ham liar. You're fucking happy you're dying.
I'd start applauding if someone put the effort in to kill me after all that time. But you know what?
And then you'd be there like, no, sorry, I don't mean to backseat, but if you just move over here, the steak, it'll actually... No, yeah, I'm sorry, go on.
No, you do you. Enjoy it. Seriously, mate.
It's like me if someone else is in the kitchen. I'll hover if you're trying to kill me as a vampire.
So I think Edward has got concerns about Bella becoming a vampire because of the damnation of the soul, right? Is that what he's worried about?
I need something more tangible than that, like, you know? Like, I don't know, it'd be something like, if you become a vampire, kissing you will taste like fucking cigarettes or something like that. I don't know, you know.
Kevin, is he gatekeeping vampire? Is that what he's doing?
It feels very much like, to make it very 2009, Sam, it feels like this guy's got all the Xbox 360 gear in the world and likes that the girl gives him the look, but he doesn't want her to become no gamer.
No. Yes.
He wants the glory. He wants the babe. He doesn't want a co-pilot. He doesn't want to. He doesn't actually want to enjoy and share his special little world with her. Can I just say though, very impressed that Bella pulled out one of our favorite tricks from the old romance playbook here: the politely asked for kiss.
Yes, yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
It does feel kind of like appropriate if someone's 109 and you're going to kiss them. It is kind of like that. Can I kiss? Like. Like, I feel like almost you don't ask the person at that point, you have to ask like their keeper, like, can I give them a little kiss? And what is it that keeps you living so long? How many litres of olive oil a day is it? Wow, 3. And
can I give you a little kiss?
Can I have a little kiss? I'm sorry, I'm with Bloomberg. I need to...
So I think it is quite sweet that she asks him for that. And he does look like he's going to cry from pain before he kisses her. He's got a kind of weird, like...
I think he's matching her energy. She's that is. The both of them are just dragging each other down. Like,
is kissing painful for vampires because they want to transition to full-on bite and then have all the blood? Like, that's kissing is quite close to chomping. Like...
I mean, kissing for a vampire is very much just the tip type of situation,
right,
isn't it?
Yeah. So it's maybe a bit...
Oh, no, don't worry, I'll stop. Like, yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Bella says a thing to Edward, and I think it's just a funny phrase. You're not going to want me when I look like a grandmother. And he's like, he's not like, I will like you when you look like a grandmother. He's like you don't understand how strong my feelings for you are. But I think what she needs to know is, when you look like grandmother, I will still fancy you. That's what she needs to know. But he's not willing to say that.
You know, tell her that, like, you know, heaven forbid, like...
Well, hell forbid in his case, because he's
don't reassure the fucking person or anything like that. Come on, like, you want to see some extremely 2009 behavior?
Yeah,
sitting at a desktop, printing out photos of the special paper you put in your printer.
Yes, please. She's not booting up Photoshop and cropping a photo. She's printing it out and folding it over to get the photo that she wants. Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's very good. Sam, some of these digital cameras you could plug straight into your HP printer. Bypass that middleman. Sorry, Gates.
If you can find that cable, you're on to a winner. You'll never find it, but you'll know that you could have done it.
So they go for a special plot walk where they advance the plot. And this is the point where we're finding out, days are numbered for the Cullens here in Forks. For mysterious reasons, like, people seem to notice things an awful lot that we're doing explicitly, like being old and in school.
Yes, the problem is my dad looks about 5 years older than me, and he's meant to be like we all look too young. and people are noticing, so we've got to fuck off to the next school.
And we drink as much olive oil in within the vicinity of other humans as possible, so they believe that it's just down to our very good Mediterranean lifestyle, but they're starting to get suspicious because the prices have went up recently, haven't they?
Now, Kevin, I'm sorry, but in those 109 years, and I don't know how long all those other vampires have been alive, in all of those years, they've not thought, let's take a prosthetics course, or let's learn to do some aging makeup. You know, let's get into practical effects and make ourselves look older. The team at Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway can do that. And I think with enough practice, so can a vampire, okay?
Look, Sam, I know you clicked on the other videos on YouTube and you read the conspiracy theory that Ant and Dec are vampires.
Yeah.
It's not true. It's not true.
Of the two, Ant. Thanks. I'm just leaving that out there. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
Like, you know. Just try and picture Dec in a cape. You can't.
But
you can't.
There's no effort of these vampires to even look older. They're not trying to sort of age themselves up a bit. That's vanity, all right?
That's vanity.
What I'm saying.
And
that's vanity.
Vanity as well, if you think you can get away with this as a breakup where he's like, yeah, we're moving away, so, hey, don't do anything reckless, kid, all right? You're a good kid. You're a good kid, huh? Like, this was so fucking formal and shit. I thought he was going to give her, like, a big brown envelope with money afterwards, kiss her on the cheek, like, I wish you well.
I did think when he's going, and this is the last time you'll ever see me, I'm like, what are you on about, mate? There's 3 more fucking films.
Loads more movies.
Grow up, mate.
Come on.
Yeah, silly. But he does actually leave.
Yeah, he does. And leaves Bella without kind of a screen mate and a soulmate. Honestly, we see naff all of Ed Cullen in this one. When I was watching The Penguin, I hadn't been wondering where Robert Pattinson was as much as this movie. Like, what? Come on, why haven't you shown up? You show up. Come on. It's why he's not here for like most of the movie, basically.
This is the Jacob movie.
It is.
Yeah, it's the Jacob movie.
And before Jacob and Bella are entwined, Bella's kind of left on her own for like a scene where she walks around the forest, just kind of grunting. Like she's walking around going like, oh. She's just kind of working her way through it.
And then does she lie down on the floor from heartbreak, and then there's a police search and she's carried back by some shirtless man? Have I made that up in my head?
No, that happened.
Yeah.
Not just a shirtless man. Joe was at pains to remind me that was in fact a fully naked man.
No, was it?
Yes, he was fully naked. And the cops were like,
oh,
hey,
cheers, mate.
Thanks, man. You know, naked division always gets their man in the end, I guess. You know?
What the fuck's going on in this town? Come on.
I don't know. Forks is starting to be a little bit of a suspicious place. So she's sad now, and this begins a long sequence of her whiling away the months, being sad. And in fairness, if you're going to write off any 2 months, October and November,
get them out of the way. It's very music video-y, the kind of the circling shot around her as the months pass. I thought that was quite...
It is. It was nice. Very... music video as well, because there was a lady and there was the camera, as you said, going around, and then there was also like a and that's music. That's the thing y'all love so much. Music? That's what that is.
Yeah.
And y'all love that, don't you? And you'll sit around like Bella for months on end just listening to that.
It's even got the music video thing of having to very clearly communicate technology stuff that's quite hard to see. So she's sending emails, but then you see the replies of like email delivery fail. This hasn't gone through. I
feel like that's going to be one of those things that younger people are like, wait, what? Automatic delivery fail subsystems? Would they be as familiar with that as a millennial would?
I don't think any Gen Z people know of the mail demon. You remember the mail?
Yeah, I remember email
demon. There was some demon in the emails, right?
I used to email that demon and be like, I'm coming to get you, demon. I was just scared of the demon. I wasn't going to get the demon.
And when I wanted to know the lyrics to Song 2 or Beetlebum, I'd email Damon and...
I thought what you were going to tell me was that you would email like Damon@blur.com and then you would get the email demon saying, you can't do that, little boy.
Oh, and for a second I'd think, oh, Damon's replied. Oh no, it's Demon.
Damn. Sorry, little boy. There's a whole team of people who prevent access to Damon Albarn from people like you.
And those were famously my demon days. Right, okay. Bella. Bella's gone to the movies with Anna Kendrick. She's gone to see some movie about zombies or something. But
zombie movie, yes.
She sees my favourite character in this, Ghost Edward. Vision Edward.
Ghost Edward.
Yeah.
Who... Again, he's effervescent. Again, like the fart we were saying, he appears very strongly and very viscerally, and then kind of almost dissipates and leaves you questioning if he was ever there to begin with, or you're just going some sort of crazy situation going on here. He's a very judgmental gas, I will say, Sam.
Right. What he seems to be doing is preventing her from getting into dangerous situations.
Prevent her from having a good time. She's going to buy Mario Galaxy, and he was like, no, don't.
I don't know if this is a thing, right? But he's sort of giving the energy of some kind of parental guidance avatar on a pair of AR glasses, right? He's sort of popping up in the real world, not quite looking convincing, but like, don't go over here. This will it looks shit, man. It looks really shit.
It really reminded me of, like, I don't know, like kind of Windows 95 era. If I got lost on Encarta, I feel like a little guy like this would kind of apparate and tell me the right way to go.
He's the little paperclip man.
A little bit. And, I mean, I know we can't miss you if you don't go away, Edward, but if you keep showing up expressly to tell you, like, to neg her and say, don't do that. And, I mean, look, it's not what we call a great gas, is it, now, what he is. He's just He's kind of a judgmental, ornery gas, if anything. I don't think he's much fun to be around, this guy.
He's just coming back to kill the vibe, and it's a real shame, because she just wants to go and walk over near some bikers, but he freaks her out.
Look, Bella should have been, by rights, riding fat hogs this whole goddamn movie. Yeah. And the universe and the vampires all just conspired to stop that happening, it seems.
She's been hog-blocked.
She has been! And, like, it's one thing as well where, like, if he stopped her from doing it, fair. But she gets on. She drives for a bit, and he's like, no, really, stop. And then she just stops. Yeah. So it's like, well, there you go. No one's happy.
No. What a disappointment for everyone.
No one got their way. There you go.
So after that, she goes to see Jacob. Once again is like, Jacob, you're buff. You're buff. He's so buff.
Eyes up here, Bella. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous.
Right at his chest. Like... It is very... I think that's a case of unsubtle acting. Like, the direction was probably like, she looks at him a bit, but she just stares right at his admittedly buff chest.
There it is. It ain't going anywhere. Ain't gonna get bigger looking at it. It's as big as it's going to be for now.
She's brought some scrap motorbikes to be fixed up, because that's the sort of thing that he does.
I call this hog scrap, Sam, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a gimmicked bike, because he picks that up like it's nothing. I don't think that's real.
Of course this boy knows how to fix bikes.
Yeah, he loves fixing bikes. That's his whole thing.
And like a lot of boys, he lives with a bunch of other boys who are all like smelly and fighting and tussling around, that type of a thing.
It's me and my smelly boys. Oh, it's just my boys. Kevin, the most important detail here, Bella doesn't like music anymore. She's not into music. She's moved. She's like, I don't really like music anymore.
Are you telling me that gives me vampire points? Because I've heard anyone I've asked between pre and post Swirl has assured me under no uncertain terms I'm clearly on the werewolf side of things.
Yeah, you are, and that's okay.
But you know, I could be a Bella. You know,
yeah,
I could be the courtesan in this situation.
Yes.
I don't like music.
I thought you'd like to know that you're not alone in the moving past the need for music decision.
Well, that's what she did. She did what I recommend, which is the music detox. You sit in a chair and you slowly rotate for 3 months.
Yeah.
And the only activity you're allowed is to send emails that no one reads. Then every music you hear sounds like... Yeah. You don't need it anymore.
So she quite quickly, becomes infatuated with Jacob, or Jake, as she calls him sometimes.
If you're infatuated with someone, why do you have night screams then?
Well, yeah, there's that, but she's saying there's a hole in her chest, and when she's with him, and this is coming through in the emails that she's writing, so we get a little bit of it's quite a neat way to have some first person narration going on.
Yeah, without actually have to show loads of scenes of them getting closer. You just kind of say that you've done it. Trust me, we were getting very close.
The hole in her chest is almost feels like it's healed when she's with him. So that's nice. These two are getting on.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, there was a point before this where, because of the night screams and all that was going on, Officer Dad was like, "You're gonna have to move with your mother in Jacksonville. I don't like it now," and that never happens.
No, is that just because of the night screaming?
Yeah, because then when she's screaming later, he comes in. He's like, "Hey, baby, shh, 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 shh. I thought you were moving out, baby. What's going on? Why are you screaming so loud in my house? You're not supposed to be here."
Here's another unwrapped gift. Just go away.
Take the hint.
Her and Jacob are having a little drive, and they see some lads who are throwing each other off cliffs. She's
telling.
Scared. Yeah, no, she's immediately in the I'm telling camp. She's like, "This is bad," and Jacob's like, "No, hold on."
A friend of mine recently, when I was at my brother's wedding, told me about the wedding that he had attended, which was one of these kind of, we're going to do the big wedding on the beach. It's beautiful and all that.
Yeah.
And it was on the beach, these beautiful cliffs where there's people paragliding and all that, and they're doing the vows. And as they're doing the vows, someone on the cliffs fell over and was holding on, going, "Ah!
Oh, God.
No! Ah!" And they saw, during the ceremony, all the paramedics and the fire engines all go by, and they're literally doing the vows. And in the background, it's like, do you take this woman to be your lawful?
I'd have delayed it a bit. I mean, hopefully that person was all right in the end, but
they were fine.
Okay, good.
And the other one got married.
But no, it's not. It's not a violent attack. It's just Sam and Sam's gang cliff diving. This is just Sam behavior.
Classic Sam, always cliff diving with his boys.
You wouldn't understand unless you're an adrenaline junkie like Sam.
That's it, yeah. Sam likes his games to be extreme games. You know what I mean? That's the skate behavior, cliff diving behavior.
Yeah.
Pepsi Max behavior.
What'll I do next? Whatever the fuck I want.
Whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
And you didn't know, you thought that was a building. That's Bam Margera. Sam would do that off the cliff now. Which is
Yeah.
And he'd do it in Skate as well. That's even more badass.
The problem with this shot, right, is that you see them cliff diving from far away and it looks quite realistic and good. But then we cut to a quite close-up thing of this leader of the pack, Sam, cliff diving, but some real shoddy CGI. The CGI in this looks cheap, man. I don't know why. You've got a big budget.
Because they were promoting the Xbox 360. It was the future of gaming then, as much as this is now.
Right. So we see these lads. As Bella is about to ride this newly fixed up motorbike, they're going for a motorbike ride. Fucking Fun Sponge Cullen comes along in his little ghost form. It's like,
"Don't ride that," and I quote, "sweet fat hog." No, what you are. Your soul is damned. That's damned soul behavior. That's the only explanation for this line of fucking commentary he has going on throughout the movie.
Bella, you've not even got a helmet. Shut up! Quit it!
He needs to learn at some point that girls go and ride, okay?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Let her out on the free road, man.
We've always said that on this podcast.
It's not the same for you as a vampire. You won't die if you crash. You don't understand.
To be fair to Edward Cullen, and this might be his fault, really, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, she does come off the bike and hurts herself and starts bleeding.
Too much hog for her, I think.
Too much hog.
I think the problem is that hunk, Jacob, he souped up that hog too good. He juiced it up.
Yes. I thought, a genuine nice little detail. It's when she is bleeding. She apologizes for bleeding. And Jacob's like, "Why are you apologizing for bleeding?" Because she's used to her boyfriend being a vampire and bleeding is bad because it's blood and vampires.
Oh, yeah, right. As if a dog didn't get sight of your blood, it wouldn't lick every fucking delicious drop out of you. and fuck the hole that it came out of at the end. Come on now. Sophisticated animals, dogs, couldn't possibly drink blood.
Buff Jacob takes off his shirt to mop up the blood. He's all buff now. And
she's like this. It's fucking staring right at him now. Giving him the eyes.
Compliment she gives him. You're sort of beautiful. Maybe less of the sort of. I just, again, let's be more direct. That's a real caveat. You're sort of beautiful.
That's like the one that I heard someone use once, which is you're pretty hot for a girl. I mean, I have more respect from people who outright insults the people that they intend to pursue as opposed to people who feel that you can dual wield a compliment wrapped in an insult.
Yeah.
Or an insult wrapped. Pick a lane. Be a bollocks or don't be.
Be like, you are beautiful, or you look silly or buff like that. You look daft, mate. You look strange.
I keep looking at you because of how stupid you are.
I can't believe what you've done to your body.
I keep biting my lip to stymie the ridicule, the flow of banter that's going to come out of me. This weapons grade banter that's going to come out like fucking hot lava and scorch you.
It's classic Bella flirting. That's what we get here. You're sort of beautiful. Later on,
no! Is this on the normal boy asked her out?
Yeah.
A date?
Regular guy.
Yeah. And she's like, what, are you invisible? A fish man? He's like, no, I'm just a boy.
Those are the other two we've got. Are you invisible or fishman?
Or shaman. It could also be a shaman.
Yeah.
That's another type.
I don't know if there's invisible or fishman in the Twilight universe. There might well be. There could be.
Could be. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And look, all I'll say is that this lad here, he swings hard with the full knowledge that he's not going to make contact with that ball, but he's still holding the bat in his hands.
Yeah. Good on him? Question mark. Yeah.
Inexplicably, he calls his shot and asks her out on a date. Which then, cold as ice, Bella's like, oh my God, yes. And then turns and's like, other people.
Yeah.
You all...
Oh.
That happened to me once.
Oh no, a date became a kind of gathering.
Literally one of my first ever dates when I was a wee teen.
A wee lad.
And it was meant to be me and the girl out. And I asked the girl out, and then she invited loads of people, which I was really happy with because I was like, okay, loads of people. I'm nervous. If there's loads of people, I'd do better with a crowd environment. But then everyone but one dropped out, so it was me and the girl and another person. Oh, which is what happens here.
And that person was a buff werewolf.
No!
Oh no!
It never ends.
And then you watched a movie called Face Punch that has a Wilhelm scream in it, which is a nice little touch. And it makes you too sick from all the violence. Blech.
Yeah, he's a bit of not got the stomach to hang out with a fucking crazy, fucked up individual like Bella.
Yeah.
She likes, also I think she's fronted a bit because she's like, I like these kinds of movies. And then she's there looking at their stupid hands in the movie. What's that? That's not my hand up like this, like I'm considering an orb. That's not a move. That's not a move.
No.
You don't go like this. If the lady was supposed to grab my hand now, I would not be opposed. You go like this, don't you?
I thought you just gonna fully reach up.
You go like this, and you say loudly with your hand in the air, I would like a hug now. In a clear voice.
Yes. Clear and direct. Did you catch Jacob's insult about Mike when he's thrown up from all the violence, what he calls him?
Did he call him a regular, normal piece of shit human?
In a way, he said, what a marshmallow.
Oh!
Ouch. Oh.
That's fucking harsh, man. He gets his dander up, though. You want to talk about Stanley's dander?
Oh,
Jacob's dander.
Yeah.
He's straight, he's bowing up.
Well, so Bella's like worried about dating Jacob, and he's like, don't worry, I won't hurt you. She's worried she'll get hurt like what happened with Edward. But then, immediately after reassuring her that he's not going to hurt her, he gets really fucking violent and scary all of a sudden.
He gets hot as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's really, like, he gets hot like a casserole because he's angry, and it's very strange. Like hot to the,
yeah.
Ooh. So he kind of disappears. He's MIA. Next time we see this guy, he's got a cool new tattoo and a haircut that makes him look like your fucking cousin wants to dress up as John Cena for Halloween. I don't know.
Yes.
You know.
This made me worried that he'd fallen down some sort of pipeline, is what the intervening was. It's like, oh no.
Oh, and you've given them your money as well. Jesus Christ.
But poor Bella has had two lads just essentially fuck off. You know, express real interest, get into a romantic situation, and then just fuck off out of nowhere.
He's been radicalised by Sam and the werewolf gang.
Yes.
Now he hates the Cullens more than ever. And I have to say, admirable as it is to try and strike while the iron is hot and hash out your feelings, I'd be having no conversation of substance in Heavy Rain, me personally. If the rain has fallen that hard, I'd tell you any old shite to get out and to be on my way. Yeah, we'll sort it out. Yeah. Get lost here, topless in the rain, talking about long-term feelings and all. No.
Look, one of the funniest images in general is these buff, shirtless boys running around
roughhousing.
Topless in the rain.
They're roughhousing.
That's funny, man. That is funny. I tried to work out why they're shirtless all the time, because they don't. And I was like, you're saving money on shirts, because if you transform, you're going to rip your shirts.
Although I will say, from this point on to the end of the movie, I was laser focused trying to see what happens to the jorts when they transform into wolves, and they kind of like, you know, it's all I can say is it seems like a magician's touch. As in, you know the way how like a magician will make a flower disappear. That's where the pants go. They go in a flourish.
But really, you're just focusing on the wrong thing, and
maybe
it's a slight of jort.
They call it ratcheting, Sam. Is what it is. But yeah, he basically tells her to fuck off as well.
Yeah.
So this would be the point where I think that she would swear off all monsters and go with a nice, steady, reliable human being. But you know, Bella's not built like that. She's built different.
Instead, she goes back to the sort of meadow that her and the previous bastard man, Edward, used to go to.
That's a better, response, because, she sat down for 3 months when Edward broke up with her.
Yeah.
That breaks up with her. She's off hiking. She's doing things.
Yes.
Gets you out of the house.
But she's met by Laurent, one of the bad vampires from the last movie, the naughty villain vampires.
He really felt out of place here, like he was in a very different movie. There's something about him with his dreadlocks and his suit with no shirt on, and his cat eyes and his fingerless leather gloves, traipsing through a forest. Like it felt like I was playing like an MMO, and someone just random characters like, oh, you look like that. You're extremely ornate in a very mundane place, queuing up to fight the dragon. I'm assuming. Yeah,
he was giving it the business. Like it was good.
Yeah.
But
he's the most vampire-like vampire in all of Twilight so far, because he literally walks like with his hands up and. Like every other step is an ooh, ah, yeah. But essentially, this is another time for Gas Edge to show up and ruin the mood with such great fucking suggestions like lie to this dangerous man and the ever helpful direction, lie better.
Lie better.
Does anyone ever knowing, like if you're lying, it's fair to say that if you're ever going to be in the situation where you're lying, you're going to give it your best shot, right? No one lies half-arsed, do they?
Low effort lie. Not that I can recall, Your Honour, but...
Your Honour, I feel the defendant committed to the lie with the fullness that the lie deserved.
This is why the TV show The Traitors is so successful, because it's the drama of having to put effort into a lie.
People swearing that they'd killed their children before they would lie, and they're 100% a traitor.
Yeah. That can be your undoing, and that will get your name written down incorrectly on a chalkboard. Kevin, we're an hour into the movie at this point, and just now the werewolves have finally shown up to do their business.
This was very Hobbit feeling.
Yeah?
Because there were big CGI animals appeared and had a fantastical battle. And at the end of it, all you could really say was, that felt like it didn't belong on the screen that I was watching it. Like, it feels like from a different genre. It feels like not a movie. It feels like a cutscene in a game and they've cut out the characters and they've put them in the middle of this teen angst drama.
Yes, the animation or the CGI of the wolves feels off. It's not necessarily...
It's hardly Xbox 360. It's more like PS3.
It's not bad necessarily. It's just not quite... maybe it just is bad. A lot of it's happening like when it's still quite bright and you can see everything and it's a bit blurry and weird.
There is quite a bold pride that they've taken in these CGI creatures. You know, it's not like, oh, we'll hide them away. We're kind of ashamed of it. Like,
you get a good look at them. It's the opposite of the thing with Jaws, where it's like, let's just sparingly use the shark. This is like, we've got great wolves here, guys. And we're going to use them.
Honestly, the only way I could say how like kind of proud they are, it's like when a AAA movie franchise proudly shows off the dead man that they've brought back from beyond the realm of the ghosts and the unliving to make him be in a movie again.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of unfounded pride. I bet you thought Ian Holm wasn't alive anymore. Well, he isn't. But look at this. I don't think you should be as proud of that as you are. And I feel the same way about these wolves. I think there's an unearned pride in these.
Yes. So, we get a bit of werewolves chasing off Laurent, and I think ultimately they kill him.
They kill him?
Yeah, later on we find out he's dead. Bella goes to see Jacob at home, right? And he's not there, but the shirtless boy werewolves are all just hanging out in the garden.
Oh, and they are waiting to turn into wolves.
Yes.
They are waiting to turn into... Like, they don't need an excuse they're going to turn into wolves.
Does she like aggravating monsters? Is that a thing?
I feel she has kind of like this invincibility complex almost,
yeah,
where she's brushed with death so many times she feels like she's untouchable. Perhaps
she pisses off one of these boys. We get a couple of werewolf transitions.
They break a boat. It is heartbreaking to see a boat taken out. No one wants to see a big dog break a boat.
No. Now, Stanley was fast asleep during this. Otherwise, his dander would have been through the fucking roof. Jesus Christ.
It's because they're so big, right?
They're huge. They're badly rendered.
He's a snob for that.
Yeah, he's really fussy about it. He'll be like, that doesn't look quite right. It's the broad daylight problem.
I think, you could have hidden this.
Yeah.
Give me flashes, eyes, snarls, teeth, or whatever, but it just feels like, I don't know, like it's wholly unnecessary. I don't think... Now, again, I like to think, Sam, that the Twilight franchise is for everyone. But obviously it was marketed to not everyone. It was marketed with certain types of folks in mind.
Of course.
And I would have assumed that lengthy CGI wolf battles were further down the list of priorities than perhaps the sense of danger that you want to create. Because it just, again, like, when those wolves are fighting, like, my last thought was, where's Bella? Is she okay? She may well have been there. I don't know. I was just remarking on the poor processing capacity of the Dreamcast.
Yeah, she sort of rolled out of the ring and stood to the side. Like, during this segment.
Stood, Have at it.
Weirdly, this is a strange thing to say and a mad comparison to make. I was reminded of Van Helsing, which we watched for Cinema Swirl.
Yes, definitely, yes.
And that there was bad CGI in that, but it was cloaked in... they went too far the other way in terms of just throwing darkness at it until you can barely sort of see what's going on. And
there was lots of quick cuts and shaky bits and bobs and all that. Yeah.
Whereas this film wants to show you very clearly what's happening with quite... direct shots of like, here's the action in bright lighting.
They're a well-articulated wolf. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I'm saying whoever was their wolf consultant was an expert in the field. That is undeniable. I don't question that even for a second, Sam.
It's a weird scene. All the wolf stuff is weird.
They've got to get it out of their system. But we need the head wolf. He's got a wife. And they want you to be kind of like, draw a parallel with Bella of like, you get too close to monsters, it's a difficult life. So she's got a big like
scarred
claw
face.
mark, which makes it look extremely badass and cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I laughed so much in this scene. Now, in retrospect, these were in fact just regular looking muffins. However, not being prepared to see muffins and the way they are presented, it looked like she made special dog bread for them. Like big dog bread. Like they can only eat this special big... They were just muffins, but I thought it was the funniest bit of bakery I saw in the whole movie.
Eat your big dog bread.
Please.
Yes, woof, woof, woof.
She takes all this very well, Bella, by the way. She's like borderline unsurprised that there are wolves among her and that they fight and turn and all that jazz.
Well, look, her previous fling was with a fucking vampire, so I guess you become accustomed to expect the unexpected, you know. There's a rule, right? The only people these werewolves are allowed to kill are vampires.
On their own turf.
On their own turf, but there's a treaty with the Cullens.
A treaty?
And they're not going to kill the Cullens, but the Cullens can't come onto their reservation.
I wanted to see them hashing out the details of that treaty. I wanted to see that. Yeah. That was what I was hoping for, you know. But yeah, she is kind of, again, finds herself in a situation where she's kind of being protected by a group of monsters from a group of other monsters. Will they play baseball? Unlikely.
No, not in this one, unfortunately.
Victoria, by the way, who's from the first movie, she was the villain, constantly referenced in this as being like, just around the corner, she's coming to get you. It's actually potentially why the Cullens moved in the first place.
Yes.
All this chat about her being sighted. Oh, she's coming for you. And I swear we saw her in like one scene here, and that was it, where she kind of runs away from the wolves a bit.
Yeah, so it sort of talks about like, oh, Jacob's hunting her over here. And then we do see a bit of it, and we see her running in slow motion away from some werewolves to a bit of Tom York. Not even Radiohead, Tom York.
No, the good stuff now. The good stuff. Give me the good stuff.
Yes.
I don't need the Hamburglar. I just want Ronald himself. Thank you very much. The big man.
Yes.
Tom York is like the Mario of Radiohead, though, isn't he?
Yeah? Who's Johnny Greenwood in that situation?
I mean, I don't know who that is, but it's Luigi, right? You just said green. Like, Sam, come on, give me a hard one. Fucking hell, Jesus.
Sorry.
Come on now. Do you think that when the actor who played Victoria got the script and did, you know, we've all been there if you've ever acted, you command F, you go and you see what's there. And she got mentioned loads. I bet she's thinking, fuck, 19 mentions. I got to have loads of... No.
There must be a page missing.
She doesn't have a single line of dialogue, does she?
I don't think she says anything.
Wow, she just fucking flips.
Yeah. So we kind of get one baddie vampire per film, right? In terms
one talking baddie vampire.
Yeah.
Because the other guy was barely a baddie vampire. He was so polite and genteel. I felt bad he got eaten by wolves.
We had James, we had Laurent, and Victoria is the last one standing. But yeah, we don't see that much of her.
And Bella, in the midst of all this, has decided to act on something that she's kind of implied throughout this and most of the other movie.
Yeah.
She's going to go kill herself. And jumps off a cliff.
Yes. So she's back on the cliff diving cliff. The whole bit of her on the edge of the cliff and Ghost Edward dissuading her from doing this is a fucking green screen nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even have these actors anywhere near a cliff. Like, this is all... none of this is real.
And see, I feel like she jumps... like, because it feels like he's almost daring her by negging her once again. And then she jumps off and he's like, well, great job, Bella. Everyone's admiring how powerful you are. Great stuff. Doing great, yeah.
It just doesn't hold together. Jacob manages to get her out of the water. She's alive.
Until she's not. It's the waves that do you. She's clearly not watched Bear Grylls' The Island on Channel 4.
No, neither have I.
It's not falling into the water. It's the waves that get you. They'll knock you about.
Right, yeah. But somehow she's made it.
Frankly, Sam, a stupendous amount of injuries in that programme. They don't make them like that anymore because legally they're not allowed to make them like that ananymore.
I was going to say, imagine insuring that programme. Jesus Christ.
I think for insurance purposes, it technically wasn't a programme. I think it was. They got incident insurance instead.
Okay. Right. One of the elders of the tribe, Harry, he dies, and it's like, sorry, what the? That happens off screen, right? You don't see him die. He's a character that shows up a lot, goes hunting or fishing with.
He's affiliated. It feels with the Wolf Boys.
Yeah.
Who seem to have a vague kind of like Native American type of community or whatever. But they don't really go into much detail on that. I was expecting the old man to turn into an old wolf at any point.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But no, he's just dead. He's just dead off screen and dead now.
Oh, fine. Well.
We finally get some vampires back.
Yes.
And the fucking... Right, I know it's Twilight and it's like modern vampires, but the fact that you can tell the vampires are there because one of their cars is outside is such a silly thing.
Hang on a second. What is it, Bella? It's Edward. He's checked in on Foursquare. He's back.
Yeah, there should be some like cross on a door or like garlic outside or something, but it's like, oh, the Ford Focus is outside. Okay.
Yeah, I forget her name, but like it didn't say much about me that when we saw the lady vampire inside, I was like, oh yeah, it tracks. That's her car. Yeah.
Yeah, Alice. Alice.
That's Alice's car. It should suit Alice now, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's there because she had a vision of Bella trying to kill herself jumping off the cliff. But Bella's like, oh, it was just cliff. I was just having fun cliff diving.
Yeah, she said, I was cliff diving recreationally.
I didn't inhale the cliff.
It's funny that I feel my attempts to do Bella's surly face make me look like a thick, pig-headed farmer going,
Yeah, you got a bit of a gurn going on.
The problem is that the beard enhances the gurn.
Yeah.
It's an accurate fucking skirling scowl.
You know what? With respect to Kristen Stewart, doing a convincing lip bite is quite hard.
Particularly if you have to do more than one in like an hour in a movie, because they don't happen that often in real life.
It looks rank when we do it.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. Hopefully our partners never see this and don't find out what a horror show's going on here.
If you're listening, just hop on the YouTube just for this bit, because you'll see some...
Again, it's all about the numbers.
Yes. So we'll use those as the thumbnail faces. We will not do that.
I gotta say it, Sam. It's been long enough now. Fucking hour and a half.
Yeah.
Where's real Edward Cullen? Like, come on.
Yeah, we need a physical Edward Cullen.
I need him in a non-gaseous form. I'd take a liquid Cullen, to be honest, at this point.
I do like that Alice is like, Bella, what's that god-awful wet dog smell? Which is, I think, deeply offensive to the werewolf folk.
I mean, they're dogs. She's been wet.
Yeah.
Wet dog.
All right.
The end.
Yeah.
It's a distinctive smell.
So, okay, let's work out what's happened with Edward here. So he's been told by Alice that Bella has jumped off a cliff and killed herself. So Edward is sad and has gone...
What? No.
He's been told that Bella's jumped off this cliff. He's sad.
No.
Kel surprised that Edward is sad. He's gone to the Volturi, who I think are where vampires go to be killed in some sort of death ritual that is permissible.
They're like the vampire royal family. So much like with you, if you want to die,
I go to the royal family.
You go to Prince Charles.
Yeah.
King Charles.
King Charles.
And you'll get the fucking thumbs in the eyes and you'll go fucking... You won't be going quiet.
No.
You won't be going slow either.
And the size of his thumbs, have you seen them? Imagine them in your eyes.
Like fucking hammers. Yes. Awful thing. Yeah. So he's went there now to meet Michael Sheen and the rest of the aristocracy of vampires, which, look, I think what endeared me more to the Twilight franchise this go around was honestly them being like, here's a little lore of this world.
Yeah.
And them being fancy vampires in robes in a marble room. That's what I want to see.
Yes. Classic vampire stuff.
Classic vampire stuff.
Are we in Italy somewhere, maybe?
I thought it was Brazil.
Yeah, we're somewhere. It might be Brazil.
We're somewhere. I'll tell you where we are. We're on holiday.
Yes. They don't want to kill him, I don't think. They don't let him die. So he goes out to commit a bad vampire crime of...
He has taken it upon himself to make a bloody show of himself.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it midday when he's most sparkly. It's kind of not really clear what he intends to do. Like, are we about to witness a massacre when he's all, like, getting ready to go there? Or is he just going to come out and be like, I'm a vampire and sparkle? Because I think I was wrong when I said it was Brazil, because I figured if he was all sparkly running around saying he was a vampire, they'd be like, that's just Carnival.
Join in.
Yeah.
I think it's a big reveal of like, look, I'm a vampire. Vampires exist, and he's going to give away the magician's secrets. But Bella's there just in time to stop him.
Yeah, just in time for the Handmaid's Tale recreation. It's fun. Yes. We all dress like in the Handmaid's Tale, and it's is it fun? Well, it's an important book.
Tell you what, this is the happiest we'll ever see Edward. Like, he's overjoyed to see it, but he doesn't look it.
Midday, no top on him, overjoyed, sparkling.
Bella's
Perfect.
not dead. Yeah.
Not dead. Brilliant.
Hey.
And you know things are back to normal because they embrace and they both mumble. But never mind that. Your reunion's been cut short. You're all due in Principal Michael Sheen's vampire office.
Yes.
And it's the same faces he's always seen coming in here, isn't it? It's the same faces.
I thought I told you already.
Colin, you rogue! I sent you out of here but 10 minutes ago.
And so, what's he in trouble for? Like, kissing a human girl and bringing her into the world? Is that the thing?
It's the fact that she knows that vampires exist,
Yes.
I believe, is
Right.
the problem.
Yeah.
But I was a little distracted because Michael Sheen does look like he could be a baddie in The Crow. Because he's all like...
he does. Yeah.
And he's very kind of mystical and whatnot and very proper and whatnot. We find at this point that Bella has what I could best describe as wide-ranging vampire immunity, or or vampmunity, as it's known in the field.
Yes, she's got that because they're testing out all their powers on her.
Like, one of them can make her feel pain, one of them can read her thoughts, one of her can make her shit. You know, it's they've all the powers.
And that guy looks gross. You know what? If you imagine a vampire who could make you shit, that's exactly...
He's always rubbing his hands together.
I thought the power of being able to make people feel pain, or indeed maybe make them feel anything that this girl has, is maybe one of the scariest powers. If you just look at someone and go pain, and they're just in horrendous pain, that's scary.
That's me. I'm the vampire. I fly around on Sunday night and I go, ennui, ennui, ennui to everyone I see. Ennui, 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 ennui.
I suppose she could go out there and be like, Carnival, Carnival, and everyone's like, yay, and starts dancing.
Hey.
She could bring the mood up, I think. You could make people feel anything.
You could be one hell of a politician if you had that.
Well, yes.
Anger, 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 anger.
Education.
Anger, education.
And so she's got this wide-ranging immunity. So now they're just talking about killing her anyway because she knows too much. Like, I thought they'd want to, work out how she's got that and reverse engineer it or something, put her in a lab.
Figure that to work him out. Yeah, Edward tries to defend her, and honestly, my explanation to the whole vampmunity thing is I was going to tell him that it was 5G, is what caused it. But then I realised this was 2009, so I was like, 3G.
Yeah.
It's a matter of interest. Did they have a problem with 4G? Did that or was it just 5G when it all kicked off?
I think there was 4G issues as well from the conspiracy contingent, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem with 3G though.
Imagine when 6G comes in. It's going to be a fucking nightmare.
They're going to have to call it something else. I'd call it 1B instead, and people would probably be grand. Edward takes a hell of a licking here. By my count, he took 3 choke slams on the concrete in this one.
Yes. He's getting absolutely battered. They've got him to the point where they're going to kill him, but Bella steps in and is like, don't kill him.
Don't kill him, kill me.
Kill me instead.
And everyone's like, she's serious, she'll do it. She's been alluding to it for quite some time now in this movie franchise.
She's already bitten her lip off, so who knows what she can do. And there's more talk about souls and offering up your soul and blah, 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 blah. And Alice is like, look, I will make her a vampire if we can all just leave this room and agree that mistakes were made.
Mistakes are made.
Yeah.
But she's 100% a vampire, all
Yeah.
right? I swear on my life, on my kids.
Don't put her up at the round table tonight. She is a vampire. I'll make
Please,
sure.
Michael Sheen.
It works.
It oddly works.
Yeah.
There was one grisly detail when they're leaving here, which is, as suspected, all tour groups are actually being directed to vampire sects. I knew it.
Yes.
I knew it. I always avoid them, and I've been proven right.
They just all being led in.
Yeah, and they're taking pictures.
Yeah, and then they're getting bit or eaten or whatever. That's what's happening, isn't it? They're all just they're just tasty blood for them.
Well, they did say they're all ripe and juicy. It could be could be other things, or it could be that they're going to eat their blood.
Tasty blood.
She gets back pretty sharpish. Things are all good. Dad pops his head in to be like, now before all you writing fan fiction have a go at me, I'm like, I didn't know she left and I was really sad and worried. Oh, get out of here, Dad.
We're back from our holiday and we're doing a fucking vote at the fancy vampire house.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a who's going to get nominated for eviction type of situation?
Yeah.
You're being evicted from having a soul, I guess. Your soul being evicted from your body, so to speak. It's near unanimity. And unfortunately, most of the other vampires aren't really kind of fleshed out enough for them, like, them saying yay or nay. It's like, I don't care, just give me the data.
Who are you?
Who are you? Or then everyone's like, oh, I'm voting no because I would have wanted someone to vote. Shut up, just give me the vote.
Yeah. Just give me the hard numbers. We're all about numbers here on Cinema Swirl.
Do you want Keir Starmer or not? Now get out of the fucking booth.
So it's nearly unanimous that she can become...
and Edward's frosty. He's like, well, I don't think that we should actually get the family Xbox Live subscription because she's probably not going to use it as much. And also as well, I need to spend a lot of hours on Halo 3 if me and the clan are going to keep... I just don't think she should become a gamer, really, ultimately. And then she's like, I do want to become a gamer, though, actually, because there's lots of really good games in the Xbox 360 other than Halo 3. No one ever talks about Viva Pinata. Why didn't they remake Viva Pinata? I don't know.
I was just giving you space to keep going.
I feel that.
But no, he's sort of crying for a second referendum, this guy. Let's just get it done, mate. Let's just get it done. Okay?
Everything about him is fucking uncomfortable. When he's kissing her, she's lying down in the bed and he's knelt beside her. On one knee. Can you just think about that for a second?
Yeah, practically.
Can you think of a less comfortable way to kiss someone than you kneeling while they're lying down in a fucking bed?
I can't picture a less comfortable version of that. No. So it's been decided, but shirtless Jacob turns up.
Yeah, he's got a couple of items he wants to address with him. Now, generally speaking, Sam, I think this is good life advice for all of us. I tend to avoid arguments with the topless. Wholesale.
Yeah, it's never going to end well.
No argument with someone without a top is going to go anywhere other than south, as far as I'm concerned.
I think the worst it can go is if the argument starts with one person without their top on and ends with both people topless.
And I know there's people think I can negotiate that top back on and then get back to the original issue.
No.
Not gonna happen.
That top's staying off. So they're arguing over points in the treaty. They're arguing over details. They're hashing out the details here.
They're hashing out the details. And keep your eye on Bella in this scene, folks, who's basically fucking vibrating from one corner of the forest to the other. She is so fucking horny and turned on by these two dinky idiots.
I think she likes the...
I think she does.
The fight, yeah.
I think she likes the fight.
If the Cullens bite a human, the truce is over. So if any of the vampires were to turn Bella into a vampire, that would destroy the agreement.
That's such a stupid truce.
She's like, I want to be bit, and he's like, don't matter. It's on the treaty. So.
No mechanics about how we become a werewolf, though. Do I just cut my hair, jump off a cliff, and get a tattoo? I'm a werewolf, because that's what it seems to imply. Yeah. Why don't we ban that then? How about that?
Is that another bite? That's another bite. They all just want to bite. They just want to bite. They're just a bunch of biters. Is what they are.
I think, Sam, if our main concern is to stop people being bitten, the two people negotiating the treaty should be proponents 1 and 2 of biting humans, generally speaking.
Well, no.
Feels like our best interests aren't at heart in this negotiation.
Kevin, I've just had a thought while you were saying that the issue here is that we don't bite this, we don't bite that, we don't kill this, we don't kill... I've not seen a single gum shield throughout the Twilight Saga so far, and that
solve a lot of your problems.
That's common courtesy, I would say.
It's a gum guard. It costs £2.50 from JD Sports, and it might have saved forks from a lot of problems.
Think on that, yeah?
Think on that. That's how you end the piece on Newsnight. People are taking that home with them.
Bella loves 2 boys, but she loves one boy a little bit more than the other boy. And she's like, it's Edward. It's always been Edward, Jacob.
And I think the reason why we've been seeing so much of this CGI wolf is so we can get the ultimate shot at the end, which is CGI cocked-blocked wolf who looks disappointed but accepts the ruling.
Yeah. That's a tough deviant art commission is what that is. And...
They really got the anguish down perfectly.
Yeah,
wow.
They nailed it, to be fair. So we're denied Vampire v Werewolf Yeah, we nearly get a bit of it, but Bella is in the way of it. And then Jacob just kind of clears off.
He clears off, and riding high, old Eddie C, well, sure, he's down on one knee, except he's not. He's just sheepishly, he's like, I'm going to get married.
Well, yeah, so I'll let you become a vampire on one condition. Marry me, Bella. And she literally does a credits roll, and that's...
And the only thing we heard about her in the vampires, becoming a vampire, she's like, well, if I'm a vampire, I'll be able to get rid of me, I guess. And like, do you want to be a vampire? Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Have you thought about bread? Because I think I could talk 80 to 90% of people out of becoming a vampire if I'm like, bread, no more.
Can they not have bread?
No more bread.
Oh, they don't eat anything.
No more bread.
No bread. Edward Cullen could eat bread, couldn't he?
Depending on our mythology, but I'm pretty sure if he eats it, he'll either get sick or it'll turn to ash in his mouth.
Oh, okay. So no food.
No food. Whatever about no food, just no bread alone, I think is a strong enough argument. That's how strong an argument I think it is.
Yeah. Hold on, this was like 2008, 2009, so you should be like, fucking bacon, man. What about fucking bacon, dude?
Yeah. But my life will be so much less epic then. Oh, man.
Epic bacon fail, man.
What an epic bacon fail. Well, Sam, it's safe to say you've won the internet for today, good sir. Can't help but think that the Twilight movies this was just very silly.
Yes.
Very fun.
Yes.
I pray for anyone, as always, who takes this too seriously or gets wound up by it at all, which is like taking something seriously but less fun. There's fun to be had here, but you seemed muted, perhaps.
It is just, I think, noticeably worse than the first one.
It's less of a movie. It very much feels like a part of a thing as opposed to a movie. Because, like, pacing-wise, like, there's, like, a full half hour of dicking around at the end after the big fight.
Yes.
Which was the obvious end of the movie. And I thought, we're going to get the fight with the werewolf and the vampire at the end.
No, it's a bit too long. It's a bit too daft. The effects are pretty rubbish. But what I will say, if I'm honest with you, is that little bit at the end of, like, marry me, Bella, I want to know how that works. I want to see how they do that. I want to know. So, look, it is...
Does Michael Sheen officiate?
Yeah, it's soap opera-y.
They did end on a good hook, I think. That's fair to say. And all I can tell you is that sometime in the next 12 months I will be watching another Twilight movie to prepare myself to review another Twilight movie with you. Unless it's so, they're ones that are either commercially or critically so poorly regarded they have to be in Swirl.
I think they were all successful enough that they count as Swirl. I'm sorry, but I think
so.
This is main feed, man. This is main feed. Look, I think we acknowledged this last time. Maybe we didn't, but I am not the target demographic for this film. Like, it's not for me, so I have to filter it through that lens a bit and go, look, it is more of that. We get a new hunky boy that we get to have a bit more detail on.
It's very 2009. Dare I say it's borderline a period piece for the 2000s of a particular vibe of content or whatever you may, you know. You look at this and say, I know someone who wore that stripy hoodie, and you'll say that at least 3 times in this movie.
Yeah. So there is a time capsule element to it. It was of its time and for its demographic, which is not me. But I think even on that basis, it is not quite as strong as the first one was.
And that was, need I remind you, fucking three star wipes.
Yeah.
So if it's not 3 fucking star wipes,
no.
What is your star wipe rating for Twilight New Moo?
I mean, it's fallen into the trap where talking about it with you has been fun. And
we're not reviewing or fun.
We're reviewing the laugh that we've had here. You know what? I normally freestyle this at the end, but I did have a number coming in after having watched it, and I think I'm going to have to stick with that. It might be a mistake, but...
Yeah.
Twilight New Moon, 2 star wipes.
Oh, you heard it here first!